Well, welcome to the next part of the kitchen remodel. Again, I know you're not going to see paint, you're not going to see a bunch of that stuff, but what you have seen in the other parts is the demolition of the island, where we came in here and took the old Corian countertop out in the L shape and busted that thing up and got it out of here. This survived pretty well. You saw me reconstruct and rebuild the cabinet area and then insert it inside this hole that's here, and it just turned out fantastic. Wow, I'm so happy with that. Joan hadn't even seen it yet, so she's going to be some kind of surprised when she sees this. It just turned out great. So we still have a little bit of touch up to do, a little bit of wood filling in a hole here or there, and taking a little bit of stain and doing some work. We got a little bit of finish work that I've still got to get done, but above and beyond that, we're going to start on the island. And what I've decided to do is I'm going to drop the camera down a little bit so you can see this. What I've decided to do, if you notice, the old cabinet was kind of like this. It had a door here at an angle. And then it had this weird kind of a thing going on with a rounded piece of Corian here. And I am going to take this and move it over here on this side, and it's actually looking fantastic. It's going to work out fantastic. I'm really thrilled about that. But the other part that I'm going to make a change on is this angle here, because I think I've got enough wood. I'm going to make this square. And that's going to give me almost another 1 square foot, maybe about 12 inches square of counter space. And I know that don't sound much, but how many times have you been in your camper and went, if the Instapot would just fit here, or only the Instapot fits here? So that's going to give me some more space. Also, I've noticed that this isn't even attached, so that is, but this isn't. It's amazing. And I'm going to do some things to kind of reinforce this, make it a little bit stronger, screw it into the floor, and keep it from bouncing around. I don't know what else I'm going to have to do there. Golly, I'm excited about this. This is going to work out well. So let's do a little bit of minor demolition and see what we can do. All right, let's see what we can do here. Easy does it, Jerry. Easy, easy, easy. Look at that. Now that's going to be a lot more than I'm going to need. It's going to be a lot more than I'm going to need, but that is going to be good. So we're dealing with 20. Okay. So I've salvaged toe kick here. Perfect. So I think what I'm going to do is just take a few minutes here and do some measuring. And then I'm going to build me a frame to go 20 inches. This will be 13, and then the distance across here. And then what I'll have to do, and I've got to do something inside here. That's not even attached. And I've got to do something about that. Wow. But I'll build this frame, and that'll have something for my shelf to sit under. I will be doing something in here for a shelf as well. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there yet, but I'll be doing a shelf here. I'm going to have 2 shelves. But I've got to come, if you can see here on the camera, on the inside here and the inside here. So I'll have something to attach to kind of give it some rigidity. Golly, that's not even attached. And then just really do some repairs. I don't think it was ever attached. Just been sitting there. If I didn't know better, I would say they were just letting like some of the weight of that countertop to hold this thing down. And wow, I'm surprised it's still here. But we're going to fix that. Okay, I'll I'll be back in just a little bit. Let me do a little bit of measuring here and get this little frame built out, and then I'll show you me installing that, and then we'll start cutting these pieces, and I'll bring the camera. Let me show you something else we're going to have to do. Let me grab the camera. I'll show you this as well. You see, this kind of came loose when I took part of that apart, so I'm going to have to run me something down the side here and kind of reinforce that. You just really see the construction here. It's just little 1x1s, mercy. But we'll strengthen that up, and we'll see what we can do. We'll make this 1,000% better. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to use this door frame that you see here. This is going to be the guide on my width, and I'm going to take this bad boy and I'm going to put him in here, and then I'm going to leave me just enough room for the thickness of the, he said, for the thickness of the door. Went ahead and cut these a little long because I wasn't exactly sure, how much room I was going to have in here. Exactly 20. If I was building this in my shop, then I would have exact dimensions, but since this is a restoration type of a thing, I don't have, and I want to make sure that everything matches. And because of that, it's, I'm having to do a little bit of measurements and adjustments on the fly, but that's no big deal. Pull that up nice and tight. Go. Get him tapped in. There we go. Movie better. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, I'll bring the camera right here. I've got to figure out a way to reinforce this thing to the floor. What I don't have, as a matter of fact, it's missing it on the inside. I've built these little blocks, and I'm going to put them in here like so. And then put me a couple nails in them and kind of screw them to the floor. Bottom line, there was hardly anything holding this counter down. I was quite shocked. But we're going to fix that, boys and girls. There we go. Muy better. Put one more screw in here, and I think that'll be all I need. All right. All right, we're making some progress now. I'm going to go ahead and put this bottom part in right here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this bottom part in right here to kind of give my cabinet a little bit of reinforcement. That'll hold that in nicely. All right, good deal. Now then, this is where it's going to get interesting. I've taken these, and I'm going to do these like so. And what I'm going to do is kind of do a two-piece unit here. I'm going to put these in here like this, and then I'm going to take another piece and put like so. And that'll give me something else to tie to. But before I do that, I'm going to go get me a square. Now I'll make sure this is square. Oh, sore knees. All right, so now I can put my outer skin across that. And then I'm going to put this in here like so. I know this seems crazy. That nail got just a little ahead of me there when I toenailed it in, but that's okay. There. And then I'll put my outer skim across here. What do you think? All right. Good start. All right, let's do the other side. All right. Now then, well, I got to share with you. I'm really having to get creative here. Just because of the way this old structure was built out, and then I tore that angle out. This was never meant to be built out this way. But, so I'm having to do a little bit of piecework in here to kind of make this work the way it's supposed to work. But I think we will eventually get there. That looks pretty good. Wow. If I didn't pre-drill this being pine, it would just split. Still may split. So far, so good. Look at that. How about that? Now the next thing I'm going to do, sorry for getting in the camera, I'm going to just double check everything here. And that should be nice and straight. He hopes, he hopes, he hopes. Looks like I might have to trim a little of that off though. Looks like I might be just a tad long. Darn it. Now, one of the things that I'm not doing here, or at least not showing on the video, is me going outside cutting this wood. I don't know how much value that has, really and truly. I mean, it's just cutting wood. And I know a lot of people do that in these videos. And I would rather you see the assembly. Sorry for the pop. Anybody can cut wood. But as I was saying, I'm not really dissing anybody that wants to do that. It's just that these things have a tendency to get a little long anyway. And I'm trying to keep that from happening and at least let you see what the scope of the project is. Okay. And a good straight edge in something like this is worth gold. And oh, I need to get staples for this. All right, let's swap out to the stapler here real quick. Got the brad nailer. These are little Hitachis. I'm using a Hitachi 18 gauge crown finish nailer. I don't know what they use in the factories, but most of this stuff is put on with staples. And the reason is this little Luan plywood is so thin, it really takes that staple. I shouldn't do that. It takes that staple to do that. So I'm just using the same thing that the factory does. They're pretty inexpensive. I'll put a link in the show notes off Amazon where you can get these things. I'm also using a Hitachi 18 gauge finish nailer. And so what you don't want to use in this is those big finish nails. The wood is just too thin, especially if you're doing any repair on the existing structure. You don't want to do that. So I'll put some in the show notes. These are good little units. They're not very expensive. But I found that they work really, really well. I've been very pleased. My old finish nailer lasted 22 years, believe it or not, before it decided that it would go to the tool graveyard. All right, so that gives me a place to put the outer skin here and match up to that. I will have a little small seam here. I'm going to do my best. I don't know, I may leave the seam there, or I may see if I can't you know, put me a little stain strip of something like that on there. I hadn't made up my mind yet. I'll wait and see. But we're getting there. Okay. You'll see me from time to time. It'll probably make it in the video, I'm not sure. I've got this block here and you'll see me put a nail in it. The pressure, air pressure for this and the stapler are different. So that's my sacrificial piece of wood that I have to use to make sure that I've got everything as it should be. Looks good.